All right, hello, hello. Is this better? Does my microphone work? It's supposed to. All right, it works. Perfect. I'm getting better at this every time. Every day I get better. I get better, I get faster, I still have to figure out how to do this like more efficiently. I feel like every time I just don't do it well. Um yeah, see what is this is not what I want, but whatever. Um yeah, YouTube is hard to do. But yeah, I want to talk about the. Oh crap, crap, crap. There we go. I want to talk about MSI. MSI started. I experienced some stuff. Doing interviews. I was very nervous. I'll talk all about that. I'll talk about yeah, just a bunch of stuff about MSI. I'm excited to talk about it. And a little bit about the interviews that I was part of. I didn't do any like one-on-one interviews. Unfortunately, I didn't. I wasn't able to. Yeah, I just didn't get any. But overall, it was a positive experience. Ow, that's loud. Okay, there we go. All right, good to know that the stream is up and running. There's a delay, and a pretty long one. Normally there isn't a delay, but it is what it is. So, without further ado, yeah, I woke up at 4 a.m. to watch the games. Um, game one, I'll talk a little bit about the games and sort of my experience, not from an analytical perspective, but more just like how I felt about the games. Game one seemed like it could have went either way. It seemed like both teams were kind of nervous. At least FlyQuest had some good plays, some bad plays, which speaks to me of nerves. I think everyone's going to point to like the Masu, he played well throughout the whole series, but he had that one slip up which kind of lost him the game. But overall, I think game one was, you could say that FlyQuest threw it. You could also say that PSG threw it. Could have won either, or not threw it, but could have won earlier. Either way, it was not the most inspiring of confidence games. Game two was more inspiring. Bupo played a very good game in terms of making space, not just in terms of being fed on a champion, but in terms of how he moved around the map. They played the lane swaps better. Obviously, they wanted to lane swap that lane because Ashe Callista is not a lane you want to be in, and even then, Kelsey Moser was saying on Twitter that they play Ashe Callista passively, which you're not supposed to do that, or just to go even. So that kind of inspired confidence. And then when they picked Callista again, didn't do much with it. Game three, it seemed like game three was maybe a little bit closer, but North America succeeds, right? So the games finish, and then this is my first time doing an international event, so I'm not entirely sure how it works. And it's not just me, by the way. There are other people. I won't name exactly who it was, but oh, what's this? Holy crap, that's so cool. Um, let me look it up just so I'm not making sure I'm not crazy. Yeah. Okay. So it was what I thought. After the game ended, I want to say the game ended around maybe 7 7 p.m. my time, because yeah, each game was around an hour, right? Especially the first game. The first game was really long, so you had like 10-15 minutes of like draft and the desk that started at 4 a.m. and by the time the game finished it was 5. I think the games ended around 7, maybe a little earlier than 7. But by like 7:30 we were still waiting for scrums. So if you don't know what a scrum is, it's just like a press conference for one singular player. So Jensen goes up, a bunch of all the press, all the media are there. They all ask their own questions. The reporters, journalists, interviewers, yada yada, and we ask questions. And Jensen just answers as many as he can within the time allotted, and we move on. That's sort of what happened. Now, 30 minutes in, we still like had no idea. At some point, I was like, "Man, are they doing it without me being like I'm in the room? I can see everything that's happening. What's going on?" Normally in the LCS, like it can be anywhere between 2 to 20 minutes, but 30-40 minutes is not something I was expecting. And someone else actually in the press media Discord in the press server also mentioned like, hey, do we have an estimate on like the scrum? It's getting kind of late. And another person was um like, yeah, what's going on? And they responded basically saying, in international events there's a lot of interviews that are done from around the world with just limited space, limited translators. It's hard to really get estimates on how long it's going to take. Sometimes it might take longer. Sometimes it may take more. Certain teams have obligations after the matches before they go to the press, yada yada. So it's very difficult to find out how long or when it's going to happen or things like that. So yeah, we waited for like I didn't see this by the way. I saw this afterwards. I saw it afterwards, but yeah, I didn't know. I was just kind of waiting and waiting, and then eventually, I think game one was like 20 minutes in, so it must have been at least 45, maybe 50 minutes before the first scrum came up. And the first scrum was with Betty from PSG. I was gonna say Flash Wolves from PSG. And I kid you not, I was so nervous. There's no reason to be nervous. I know that, but I was just very, very nervous. It was my first time doing it. I didn't know what to do. I ended up asking my question via chat, and then I realized, wait, I can also like speak up, and I know that you could speak up, but everyone's just asking through chat. So I was like, I'm not gonna be the first person to like speak up. So, anyways, I put the question to the chat, and then a few people started speaking, and then I was like, okay, I'll ask my question, get it out of the way. But I actually got two questions in for Betty, one via chat and one, you know, out loud. But there was like a lack of questions, so that's kind of why they took two of my questions. But yeah, I actually it's funny, it's ironic that I asked him, do you think nerves had anything to play, anything to do with what happened in the game? And he said, maybe nervous, anxiety, stuff like that could have been a reason, but I don't think he didn't say I don't think so. He said for me, I'm like kind of used to it by this point. So that was the first one. I will be getting that out today. I did 4 scrum interviews over 4 scrums. All of them will be out. The first one's already out. Like that's kind of what I want to do from now on. Is the first scrum is going to go out right after the first game ends, especially if it's a North American game. Like, regardless, if I have a one on one interview or a scrum, I will get that out immediately. And then afterwards, I will get the rest out, spread throughout the day. I'll get into like a rhythm, but, today I still have 3 more to push out. Um, yeah, so that was the first scrum. The second one started right after. It was with Jensen. Maybe not right after, like 5-10 minutes after, and it was with Jensen. And I was still nervous, and like I was kind of stuttering on my words, but I wasn't shaking. The shakiness was only with Betty. And then, yeah, I asked my question. I already posted that scrum. It was basically like, hey, how did you consider ironic again? Nerves. How did nerves play? Um, what role did nervousness or anxiety play in your performance today? And his answer was pretty much like, what did he say? Yeah, I think game one it had a big factor, and after that game, people in the back were saying, yeah, sorry, I'm just a little nervous. I'm I'll try to do better. So that was the experience. Um, for the first two, I think by the time both scrums finished, game two of T1 versus Estral was already on its way. So that tells you how long it takes before those actually happen. And in that time, I'm able to do stuff like either watch the games, so I'm not missing out on the games. I use YouTube, so I can always rewind and watch it. But either do that or maybe edit one of the scrums that I have. Look for questions, stuff like that. Just chill, hang out. So it's not the worst thing in the world. The one-on-one interviews, I don't know how that's gonna work, but I will try my best. I do have a one-on-one tomorrow with a loud player, um, Chinos. I'm excited for it. I'm nervous, obviously, because it'll be my first one-on-one. I feel pretty comfortable with the scrums now. By the time, I mean, the Carrier one, I was pretty confident in. That one's the next one that I'm gonna upload. I did some translation where I did some machine translation. Actually, no, I didn't do. Yeah, I did some translation because I was gonna do some machine translation for the Betty interview, because what happens is you have people and they're doing basically three languages. They're doing English, they're doing Korean, and they're doing Spanish, Mandarin, right? Chinese. And Betty speaks Chinese. The interviewer who's asking a question speaks Chinese. Chinese question, Chinese answer. We move on. We don't get the translation. So I will try to use AI generated translations and just put that there so you can kind of see it. If you don't like it, let me know. I will stop doing that. But for now, I will do that. I also won't be doing subtitles for. I know I talked about doing subtitles. I will only be doing subtitles for the one-on-ones that I do. I think that makes the most sense. Um, and we'll see. We'll go from there. But yeah, that's what I'm. That was my experience. It was fun. I'm very very tired. I've been up since 4 a.m. It's almost 4 o'clock now, so it's been 12 hours of work basically. I guess the first couple 3 hours were watching the games, and then after that it was, you know, stressing and being anxious and nervous and shaking for the interviews, and then after the interviews I did. Um, I wonder actually. Huh. Okay. And then after the interviews, I worked my full time job. I finished working, and now um, I'm streaming. Right as soon as I finished, actually. But yeah, I enjoy streaming. I enjoy talking to chat. I enjoy talking to you guys, even when there's no one. I enjoy rambling and talking about my experiences and whatnot. Tomorrow, I will. So tomorrow again, this kind of makes me a little anxious or nervous or whatnot. Not as much as I was today. I don't think I'll ever be as. I don't think anything could happen, even finals or whatnot. I think the first day I didn't know, like, is my. By the way, he posted public so I can talk about this. But Jay was telling me that he literally lost the Masu interview. He had a one-on-one with Masu, and OBS crashed, and then Ashley King and who else? Let me check. Oh, interesting. Where is it? Yeah. Oh, it's just Ashley and Jay. Okay, so Jay Silver and Ashley King were both talking about how there is like a lot of lag during the like the one-on-one interviews. Um, to the point that the videos were sometimes freezing. And Jay Silver was like, "Yeah, I had that experience too." But apparently, Jay couldn't salvage his monster interview because OBS straight up crashed. So that's not. I don't know. That doesn't inspire confidence. I know I'm using the word inspire a lot today, but Inspired was playing today, so I'm inspired. It doesn't inspire confidence, and I do hope that I don't run into any technical issues. If I do, I mean, it is what it is, right? Hopefully I don't though. The other thing wanted to mention about that is when I don't know what time that's going to happen. So let's say the one-on-one interview happens during a scrum, well then I can't be at both places at the same time. Um yeah, I don't know. I mean, I might still. I mean, I could still technically have access to it and download it. I don't know what I'm going to do. Is the conclusion. Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to try my best to upload at least four, like whichever ones I can get to. Even if it's half a scrum and I only get like, even if I don't get a question, I will try to upload all of those. And yeah, basically, Yeah, that's pretty much it. Feedback is probably the biggest thing. The more feedback you guys give, like if you like it, if you don't like it, if you want more of it, if you don't want more of it, if if I notice that a certain type is getting a lot of views and a certain other type is not getting any views, it really just depends on what you guys want to watch, right? I'm not gonna make stuff that post it for you guys that you guys don't enjoy. I'll still do it because I enjoy it, but I won't post it because it's just for me, right? Um, but yeah, that's pretty much everything. I I really enjoyed doing the interviews. I obviously I was really nervous, and I'm not as nervous, and a little nervous for the one-on-one tomorrow. But hopefully, after that happens, there's nothing new that can surprise me. I mean, there's always interviewing Faker. I don't know that I'll ever get the opportunity, but at the end of the day, you can only yeah. I'm not. I think it was just the unknown. Like I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know how it's gonna work. I don't know if I'm in the right place. I don't know if they're gonna be able to hear my voice or that the recording is gonna go through. Like just technical difficulty stuff. Um, but yeah, MSI has been nice. Besides the sleep schedule. Also talking about the sleep schedule, it is going to be crazy, dude. I'm just I assumed that because let me just make sure this is true, right? Yeah, it is. Okay. I assumed. Let me open up LOL Esports over here. LOL Esports. I assumed that because MSI started today at 4 a.m., it was always going to start at 4 a.m. Little did I know that it's not always at 4 a.m. So today it started at 4 a.m. Tomorrow it's going to start at 4 a.m. Friday it's going to be 4 a.m. and Saturday it's going to be 4 a.m. Guess what? Sunday at 4 a.m. too. Monday is media press day, but it starts Sunday night. If I'm not mistaken, I don't understand. I need to triple check this. I'm pretty sure this is how it works. But there's going to be a media day before the bracket stage starts, right? After play-ins, they usually have a media day. And media day is not going to be at the same time because I think 4 a.m. here is 4 p.m. there, if I'm not mistaken. I can check over here. But yeah, so wait, what? Yeah. So to four it starts 4 p.m. local um Chengdu time, right? In China where they are. Uh it I assumed that media day that's going to happen on the 6th, which is is the 6th Monday? I'm so confused now. The 6th is Monday. They said that it's going to happen on the 6th, and I signed up for it, assuming that it was going to be on the 6th at 4 a.m. Turns out it's actually in the US going to start on the 5th because time zones work that way. And so it's going to start on the 5th at 10 p.m. my time. And it's going to go from 10 p.m. to 3:30 a.m. Well, I think technically there's it starts at 10, but the interviews don't start until midnight. So let's just say 11:30 is probably the time I'm going to join, just because I don't know that I would want to be there that early because I'm not being there in person. I think in person doors you have to be there when doors open or whatever. But yeah, basically from midnight until 4 a.m. Those 4 hours are when the media day is going to be happening. And obviously, I do want to be part of that media day, so I will be like participating. But it's like, okay, so I completely shifted my sleep schedule around so that I could start waking up at 4 a.m. every single day. And then I find out there's a day where I have to wake up at midnight, 4 hours earlier. And I sleep at 9:30. So it's like I get 3 hours of sleep, do until basically, yeah, 2 hours of sleep, 9:30 to 11:30, get up, do the interviews, go to sleep at 4 a.m., and then wake up at 9 is it's going to be a very hectic day. That will be Monday. Then Tuesday, the games will start at 5 a.m. So I will no longer have to wake up at 4 a.m. I'll have to wake up at 5 a.m. But it doesn't stop there. So Tuesday, oh crap, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, where'd it go? Oh, okay, there we go. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Thursday will all start on 5 a.m. my time, right? Then and Friday, sorry, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday all start on 5 a.m. Then Saturday is going to start at midnight again. So just like how we did midnight for wait, they changed the times. This is not how it was earlier. I checked earlier and this was not what they showed me. Oh, okay, okay, okay. I'm just confused. Yes. So it starts at midnight on Saturday. So again, if I'm sleeping at 9:30, I'm waking up at midnight to watch the games. There's gonna be two games, and it's gonna be best of five. So this is gonna go all the way. Like, it's if it's two best of fives going all the way, that's 10 hours. By the way, it's gonna start from midnight and it's gonna finish at 10 a.m. my local time. I'll be exhausted by that time, and then it takes like an hour before you get the interview. So if I have one-on-ones, the scrums, basically it's gonna be a 12-hour ordeal from midnight to noon. At least it's a weekend, and then Sunday, same exact thing happens. Another 12 hours from midnight all the way into the second game. I mean, hope if it's 2-3 O's, then don't have to worry much. But if it's not, it is what it is. Then it goes back to 5 a.m. up until the end of the tournament is the starting time. But the fact that the starting time changes so often, and that the change most of the time is earlier, not later. Like there's obviously 5 a.m. for the rest of the tournament is nice. But the fact that on the 6th, it's going to start at midnight, and then it'll start at 5 a.m., and then there'll be 2 days where it starts at midnight again, and then go back to 5 a.m., that's going to be, I don't know how I'm going to survive, man, with sleep. I don't know. Like, I can't switch completely to a, crap baskets. I can't switch completely to like a, MSI, like a Chinese sleep schedule. Like I can't do that. I have work that and like chores and other stuff. Like I need to live and whatnot. Like if I want to go to the gym and just be social. But yeah, the next 20 days, the next 19 days are gonna be rough. Especially because there are 3 days that are gonna just be very rough. Especially since one of them is a Sunday. Like which Monday, right? Monday at midnight is when it's gonna start. One of them is gonna be a work day. That one's gonna be crazy. What do you do for a living, Wayne's World? Hey, Wayne. I am a mechanical engineer. I work on cars basically. Well, not just cars, but yeah, I work on latches. I don't necessarily work on cars, but latches are often in cars, so I will often work on latches for cars. Um, it's not the most flamboyant job, but it pays the bills. So I like engineering. I wanted to be an engineer, so but yeah, I get to work from home, which is nice, which makes this all possible. Otherwise, there's literally no way I could do this. Uh, so I am blessed in that sense. Um, but yeah, looking at the schedule, I'm a little confused as to how it's. I don't know. Maybe I just take that day off because I don't think I can work that day, and I'll need to sleep the rest of the day to catch up, or I don't know what I'm gonna do. But I'm excited. It's been fun. You made it. You achieved the American dream. I did. I did. When talking about the American dream, I think I have achieved it. I have a nice cushy job. I work from home. Yeah, I American dream. Um, I don't have a dog, so does that count? I don't know. uh, yeah, it's also like very busy because I do I watch the game so that I can do an interview about it, right? I can ask questions, and then I do the interview, and then I upload the first interview that I did, just like with with the Jensen one. I upload it right after the game or right after the interview's done, and then I watch the next series, and then I do those interviews. And by that time, I have to work, and then I do work, and then I finish work, and then I come here, and then I start working on editing the or just like uploading those interviews. And then when I finish that, like between basically dinner, if I have any chores to do, if I have to get like laundry or whatever, there's very little time. Or if I want to prep it, if I know I specifically have an interview with someone, I don't know enough about them, like for example tomorrow I have an interview with Chinos from Loud. I do know stuff about him, so I'm not too worried. But let's say it was, I don't know, Kiaya for example, on Gam, I'd be like, well, I know a little bit about him, but there's definitely a lot more that, if I'm going to do a one-on-one 10-minute interview, I probably would need to know more. So just prepping for those interviews and like editing down those interviews. There's also other stuff that I want to do. Like sometimes I need to do machine translations, and those take some time because, like I was saying earlier, sometimes you have like a Chinese player being asked a question in Chinese or in Mandarin, and there's no one's going to translate that, right? So then I could cut that out of the interview, but what I'd rather do, and if you guys don't like this, I will stop doing it. But I'd rather just get machine translation of those of what the questions are, put those down, and write down like machine translation. I'm not sure how I'm not confident in the result. Like I don't know. I can't tell. It did the Korean ones. And the Korean ones, obviously, like I speak Korean, so I could do them myself. But it's nice that it's doing that for me, and I can obviously look at it and judge its accuracy. I will say, I think it's accurate because today, when the interview with Carria, I think it's somewhat accurate. I didn't look through all of it because I just got off work, but I will after this. I will look at it. The interview with Carria, sometimes people were asking questions in Mandarin, and he was like the person would translate it to Korean, and then from Korean to the translator, like Carria would answer in Korean, the translator would take that and translate again into Mandarin. And what it seemed like to me is that the question the person asking the question, the translations matched up with the Korean translation that I heard. So it basically kind of tells me that, oh yeah, that was the right translation because she knows what she's doing. I think I don't know exactly who was the doing the translations. She didn't announce. I'm assuming it was like not Jisun, Wendy, but maybe it was someone else. There's a bunch of like Korean Mando translators, so it might not be Wendy, but there was that. So I think it's accurate enough. And I will keep an eye out, and if someone can speak Mandarin and like leaves in the comments like, hey, this is a bullcrap translation, like that's fine. I will not use it as a quote. Like I will never look at it and use it as a quote or anything like that. Unless if it's Korean, I understand Korean, I will. But if it's in Mandarin, machine translation says Carrier said that he's the best player to ever touch the world, and Faker is beneath him. I'm not gonna trust that and put it. But that's the other thing with the interviews that I need to do or that I really want to do. I don't need to. I could always just cut the stuff out and have like a shortened version of the press interviews, but I do want to do them. So there's that. It's fun as well. And then after that, I want to watch every single interview that is done. So I'm keeping an eye out on the people who are doing interviews in English. I think people prefer hearing the pro player actually talking instead of being dubbed over. Well, I wasn't going to dub over him, it was going to be subtitles. Yeah, I wasn't gonna dub over him. I was going to put subtitles there. The machine translation is just for the subs, not an actual dub. Um, Actually, with that, I was thinking. So I have an interview with Chinos, right? And I could technically just prepare a lot because my Portuguese isn't that great, but I could do the interview in Portuguese. Now, why would I do that? I don't know, just for fun, like my own personal satisfaction, just practicing my Portuguese enough that I'm able to ask those questions. I probably won't understand his answers 100%, but then later on, I can like go back and maybe ask for help or whatnot. And then when I upload the video, I could dub over myself in English and then put the English subtitles for the answers. That's just something that I thought I could do, but again, I wouldn't be dubbing the player himself. I would actually just putting subtitles. Another thing I did one time with Rich when I interviewed him is I completely took out the translator, and while Rich was talking, I put the subtitles. And yeah, like I could do that as well. I'm not gonna do it for these press interviews just because there's so many of them that it's just I prefer the speed of it rather than, and you can always just like press the forward button on your keyboard, which obviously is inconvenient, and ideally I wouldn't do it, but I think between that and having to wait an extra like 4 hours or like 5 hours until I finish work and whatnot to actually do that, I prefer just getting the speed of the initial interview. um that's just what I think. Again, like if you guys disagree, let me know. I will, adjust accordingly. If you just want the subtitles and cut out what the person's saying, that I can do that too. But I also what I was trying to mention was I want to create. I'm watching every single interview that's being done, and I want to make like a highlight reel of interview questions and answers. Um, so that by the end of the MSI, I'll have like a video that comes out that's like best, interview answers during MSI 2024. Like just a video like that. That's an idea that I have that I want to do. And so that takes, if I were to wait until after MSI, that would take an abnormal amount of time, like just the amount of time I don't want to spend doing interviews. So, or listening to the interviews and watching and trying to find the material. What I think I will do instead is I will watch the interviews as they come out, and every time I hear a quote that could potentially be in what I want to put it in, like in that video, I'll just download it, I'll clip it, and I'll have it shipped and sent and like ready to just be compiled, right? So I'll do 90% of the legwork right now because how many interviews are coming out each day? I don't think there are many people who are going to put out 4 interviews a day, like what I'm planning on doing, like 4 to 5 interviews a day. I don't think most people are going to do that. So let's say 1, maybe 2. Like Ashley King put out 1 interview today. Let me look. Ashley King. I don't know. Maybe she put 1 on Ashley King, 1 on Horizon, because she did. Oh, she did 2 interviews today. She put out the Carrier one. She put out 2 today on Ashley King, but I do want to check Horizon because yeah, there's 1 on Horizon. Oh, it's the same one. It's just a different language. Okay. Oh, she just translates them. Wait, is she even allowed to do that? Whatever. It's her thing, not mine. I'm not going to ask too much because she removed the logo, but she probably like negotiated this. But I guess she's doing the English interviews on behalf of someone else, and then she's translating them into Korean for her Horizon. I'm not entirely sure, and I don't really care. But yeah, like let's say she posts 3 or 4 today. I'll just try to compile as many I can, or whatever clips I think are good, and that will be like a cool video idea. I don't think anyone does that. I haven't seen anyone do that. Do you think she makes a lot of money from these interviews? Let's check. Let's check how much money does Ashley King make. Let us find out. I can sort of like compare with my interviews and how much I get paid, right? But obviously she has brand deals and stuff like that because she's specifically on her Ashley King video, which I recommend you watch it. I watched a little bit of the Inspired interview. I didn't watch the rest of it. Um, she's not entirely my style, so I mean it is what it is. But if you enjoy it, I know a lot of people enjoy it, so I would recommend that. Let's look. Horizon. Wait, it's called, what is it called again? The thing is, she has 2 channels now: Horizon Esports, and she has the Ashley King one, which is a lot smaller. But all right, let's find Horizon Esports. All right, found it. Let's see. Okay, I guess what do you define as a lot of money? Because from what I can see here, and let me just get a rough estimate of how much she would make. Enough to sustain her business? Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Um, it's not even close. She definitely does. I'll just do like a very rough ballpark sort of estimation. Um, why is it doing this? Why is it not letting me see my analytics? Oh, there we go. Okay. Um, let's do this for example. Let's say she gets $20 or no, what's her CPM? Let's say a CPM around $8. The thing is, a lot of her audience on Horizon Esports is Korean, right? I would say I'm one of the few people that can actually watch her interviews who lives in America. Well, not one of the few, but in terms of like percentage wise, I would say I'm the minority. That's the word I was looking for. I'm the minority that would actually watch her videos on Horizon Esports because the way YouTube does like AdSense is it depends on who watches your video, not just your video itself. If I watch it from America and someone else watches it from, I don't want to be mean to another country, but let's just say whatever random country um, that's not America. I mean, I'll just give an example. It's not mean. Like, let's say, I don't know, Morocco, right? They will pay you more for the American view over the Moroccan view. I don't know what that difference is between Korea and the US. I will assume it's just a little bit less. Um, so let's just say she gets about 650 every 1,000 views. And then let's look the last month, how much views she got. Last month, she got 302,000 views. So, a little bit of math. If she's getting 650 times for each 1,000 views, she got 302 of them. That nets for about $2,000 that month. Now that's just a rough estimate. Is that whoa? Today I learned. Yeah, is that like accurate? That she actually get $2,000 that month just from her Horizon? Maybe if she had a sponsor, that'll probably pay way more. Sponsors in general pay a lot more than your AdSense. In general, your sponsors are going to be like 75% of the revenue. She also works with other people and other people hire her and stuff like that. So, in terms of like sustaining her business, absolutely, it's sustainable. In terms of is she like a millionaire? I doubt it with the numbers that her videos do. Like I'm looking here, right? And I'm gonna just click popular. I mean, she had a 1.2 million view video a year ago, so yeah, I mean, when her videos pop off, they could make good money, but it seems like in general her videos don't do like in the millions. They're the hundred. Is that true of advertisers actually in Korea? What do you mean, Robbins? Oh, you mean like the AdSense, or do you mean the brand deals? From my understanding, yes, the brand deals are pretty big. Like compared to AdSense, AdSense is lower, but also brand deals are lower as well in Korea, and so it kind of evens out. It's still bigger. Her viewership really depends on who is being interviewed. Yeah, but again, you could post 5 interviews with like players that get a fifth of the views of like a Chovy or a Faker. But at the end of the day, it's if you post those 5 interviews, it's like you had an interview with Faker. So you don't necessarily need all the biggest names all the time. You can do 5 interviews. One with home. Oh, actually, this one did like 300,000 views. So that's not the greatest example. But you could do an interview with um actually, I mean, she has one with Faker that's only 10K views, and she has one with Viper that's 7.8 views, and she has one with Faker that's 300,000 views. So even then, it kind of she also does get all the best players. Like I don't see one with anyone that's not like a top player. She also has a podcast, by the way, with Duguri, and I'm assuming I haven't watched it myself, but I'm assuming there's a sponsor for that or something like that. My understanding of AdSense, the advertisers pay to place ads on a video, and YouTubers YouTube gives you a cut, right? So if you're a viewer in Korea, you would get ads from mostly Korean advertisers. Yes, but YouTube is the one that decides the worth of those ads. So the way YouTube so in that case, the answer is per view. Yes, yes. So Korea in general, my understanding is that Korea is a little bit lower than the United States. Now it could have changed and be a little bit higher. In the way it is, like how much are people willing to spend? YouTube has a very complex algorithm which tells them that a viewer of this type of genre usually would pay this much amount, and that's how much they charge the advertisers, and the advertisers, you know, you only get a cut of that, like you said, which is like a very tiny cut, if I'm not mistaken. She also used to stream. I don't know if she streams anymore because maybe she streams in Korea time, but if she streams, that's another source of income. It really depends. You can really branch out once you have YouTube. Once you have an audience, you can really branch out. You can have like a subscription. Like, does she have a YouTube membership feature? If she does, she doesn't. Or I don't know. I'm not subscribed, so I couldn't tell. But if she has like members, you know, if she has 100 members, that's already $300 a month. And that's over a 10% increase, right? Just passive increase over how much, like the rough estimate. Also, this was just like a 1 month of last month, but last month is probably a better time to look because playoffs and finals and whatnot. But if we look over the last year, she had 3.6 million views. Let's just round it up 3.7 and then multiply that by, you know, the 6.5 CPM that we completely made up. That's about $24,000 just from AdSense. I don't know how accurate this number is. Again, it could be plus or minus $10,000. I have no idea. But between sponsors, between all the other stuff that she gets, I wouldn't be surprised if she was making six figures from her YouTube channel. And deals, especially the podcast with Nuguri. I feel like that probably brings in a lot. I don't know if she does it live or not, but if she does it live and she does it with some sort of sponsor, yeah, I can see her doing good numbers, honestly. I mean, one day, hopefully, I will reach there. Probably not with just interviews. Again, like you guys see my channel, I have a bunch of stuff that I do, not just interviews. But it's fun. It's cool that you're able to make a living off of YouTube. That's cool. I assume Corizon also pays her. Corizon is hers. She made Corizon. She is Corizon. She pays people working on Corizon, if I'm not mistaken. 뭐야? 왜? Yeah, she owns Corizon, and then she started another YouTube channel, Ashley Kang. So you might want to add like that income as well. I think it's relatively small compared to Ashley Kang, but again, she started a second YouTube channel. And if you look at the video she put on her Ashley Kang YouTube channel, she was doing it for a different company, and that basically kind of, I'm assuming that's the company that flew her out. If she did it, did she do it in person? I actually don't remember if she did the interview in person or if she did it online. I'm assuming she did it. I could check, but whatever. It is what it is. Yeah, it seems like there's a company that's paying her to do some interviews. I mean, good for her, right? It's good publicity, and you know, she makes money off of it. Let me look up what she said earlier. Well, she's doing video interviews, so I think she's using OBS. So yeah, she must be doing them online. Again, I don't know. I'm not her. I haven't talked to her personally. Nothing. Just from like, we have a group Discord server, and sometimes I see stuff. That's it. All of this is just my own estimation. But yeah, I mean, she's worked very, very hard, and I've used a bunch of her videos to practice Korean actually. So I I will say that I don't have anything against her. I know a lot of people dislike her, and I don't know exactly why. I haven't watched all of her interviews, so I don't know. Each person's like entitled to their own opinion. If you enjoy her interviews, that's fine. But at the end of the day, she's one of the few people who actually give you interviews with the players, right? There aren't that many interviews, although there were like 30 or 40, there were like 40 interviewers for like Jose Diodo and Carria. There were so many people compared to like the FlyQuest PSG game trying to get interviews. Again, I think maybe only 10, if even that, are interviewers in North America that actually do constant interviews. I didn't see people like Degon or Travis. Maybe they had one-on-one interviews and they didn't bother doing other interviews. Like again, I don't know. But if I could count like English interviewers that are popular on one hand, popular would be like Travis, Ashley King, Degon. What's his name? Rudy's not doing it, and those are sort of the four big ones. I don't think there's I don't consider NA men like they're not really big. I don't consider myself big. I don't consider like Jay Silvers or Shibby. Like all these people are like relatively small. Penta Q, maybe you could maybe they had like a not dot esports. What is that? Inven maybe sometimes they translate their stuff to English. Like they're not that many, right? Compared to traditional sports, there's so many people doing interviews. So in terms of like big people that can drive narratives and have the players say things that the fans can enjoy, she's one of them. So that's always good. Um, yeah, I like watching as many interviews as I can. Like I said, I want not just it's not that I'm only watching interviews because I want to make that video. It's I also enjoy watching interviews in general. I was gonna watch them anyway, so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make a compilation of the best questions and answers, and at the end of MSI, I'm just gonna post it because I wanted to do like an MSI mini movie at the end of MSI. I wasn't gonna include plans unless something major happens, like if T1 are upset by FlyQuest. Even if FlyQuest go 2-1, I probably won't include it. But if like Gam beats Fnatic, sure, I'm adding that. Um, a funny Jose Deodo was like, yeah, I think we'll be PSG. I think we played pretty well. We went in there, we gave it our all, and I think we can beat PSG. So we'll see. But yeah, during MSI, I really don't have any time to do anything. It's just pump out every single interview that I can. Um, it's yeah, those 3 days where it literally starts at midnight. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know how I'm gonna survive, but I'll try. It'll be fun. It'll be an experience. But yeah, I am excited that 그렇구나. Today marked the start of switching my sleep schedule 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. to watch NA. Let's go, 20 Minecraft. Yeah, you got an extra hour. I sleep at 9:30. But honestly, it's nice. It gives a different vibe. It makes it more exciting. I've watched NA multiple times, like waking up and just like catching back the games. Normally, I'm not the type of person that actually wakes up in the middle of the night to watch a game. Like I don't care unless it's the finals. The finals I'll watch, but besides that, especially when I think when TL made finals, I don't even remember if that was um in the middle of the night or not. But I would wake up for stuff like that. I think Fnatic versus IG was one that was like in the middle of the night that I woke up for. But yeah, it's nice. It's fun. I've It's also tiring. I'm pretty tired. I'm sleepy, but yeah, I think today's just day one. I did it slowly though. If you switched all at once, Minecraft, that's hard. Last week I started shifting my sleep back 1 hour and my wake up time 1 hour, and I slowly worked my way up to 4 a.m. Today was the first day of 4 a.m. Um, that helped a little bit, but if you just did it all at once, that's crazy. Yeah, the other thing is prepping for the one time in recent years that I pulled all nighters to watch League were the two T1 versus JDG World Semifinals and T1 versus DRX Finals. I'm trying to remember if I did that. I don't remember honestly. Um, but I do remember being very nervous for JDG Game 5 against T1 and DRX. Especially, I still vividly remember just like my heart sinking when Gumayushi stole Baron with his Varus arrow when they had Smite and everything. Um, Last year's finals were too short to be an all. That is true. That is true. I was pretty disappointed after game one. I was like, okay, it's over. I think maybe I went to sleep. I don't remember, but yeah, pulling all nighters is fun, especially when you have friends. I think I had a friend who I was like, "Yo, you want to do a watch party?" But I think he had already fallen asleep, or maybe he was doing a watch party with someone else. I don't remember, but it's cool when you have like watch parties. I was trying to see if a bunch of people were doing like the Flight Quest crew. I was wondering if they were gonna do like watch parties, especially since Flight Quest is playing. I don't know. It's a cool vibe, cool environment. It's different than LCS. The LCS watch parties, I just can't do them because like I don't have time to even watch the game. Literally, I can only watch game one. Game one ends. I'm doing an interview. By the time the interview is over, game two is like halfway in. I have to like rewind, double speed play it. By the time, sometimes like the game will end before I'm caught up, and then I have to like fast forward, and then I have to prepare the questions for the next interview because I have an interview, and I if I don't watch the game, I can't ask the questions about the game. So it's pretty hectic, and I wasn't able to do any of the watch parties, even though there's some really cool ones, where like co-streams or stuff like that, you just can't do it. But I do think watch parties are pretty fun. Oh wow. But yeah, I think most of I'm a boomer. My first all nighter was to watch TSM and C9 against the Samsung during season 4. Oh wow. Yeah, I did not stay up for those. um, I did. Yeah, I don't remember staying up for things. I think normally I just wake up for something. But man, that was a very long time ago. Season 4. Season 4 was amazing. Season 4 was like so different. I'm a big Mata fan. I still am. But I was a bigger Mata fan back then, and it was just amazing seeing the Samsungs play. It was a different game. They just played a different game than everyone else, and everyone was just like, "What is going on?" They just completely changed the game. It was really cool. That's why if I had to pick like my who I think the best support of all time was, I would probably say Mata. Even though my heart would lean to Mako, but my brain just says controversial question here. Are you covering the Esports Cup? I have no idea, but chances are yes. No, not chances are. If I can, I will. I don't know. I don't know that I can, to be honest. I have no idea. Like all this is run through Riot. Will the Esports World Cup allow me to do I don't know. But if I can, I will. I've been very consistent. I guess I'll talk about the controversial part. Personally, I'm very consistent with what I think, and this is even way before, and I've literally given up money for where I draw the line in the sand, and this is not where I draw the line in the sand. So I there like after when COVID happened, the job that I had lined up fell through, and I had multiple opportunities to work for companies that were defense contractors. You doing side quests at this point? No, like I had opportunities to work for companies that were, defense contractors, and I actually went. I was going almost gonna sign a job that I didn't realize. I don't know how, but they just didn't mention it. And something was like fishy about it. And eventually I found out that they were a contractor to the government. I was like, no, no, thank you. And they're like, why? We really want you, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, I'm not comfortable doing that. So like I do have a moral like line where I draw the line, and that's sort of where I drew the line. Um, Full disclosure, I work for the government. I don't say this very often, but I do. It's just it has nothing to do with any like defense contract or anything like that. Um, and I did stay 8 months without a job because literally every single job that wanted me, except for three, were defense contractors. And the U.S. I live in Maryland, which is right next to Washington D.C. And Washington D.C. has a lot of money that they pump out, especially to the University of Maryland, which I went to. A lot of my peers and colleagues all went into defense. Like I could probably list out like 10 or 15 of them that all just like went to defense. And I wasn't comfortable with that. And I said no. And I'm not against working for a government agency. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that. What field? Mechanical engineer. So in engineering, specifically the one that I was going to work in was going to be like batteries related. Um, but yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, that's sort of where I draw the line. It's like I think being too involved with like defense is one thing. I think it's another thing to take money from a government that does things, right? I think the US government does things I disagree with, and I will actively not work in the defense. And like I said, I stayed unemployed for 8 months because I refused multiple opportunities to work for the defense. Um, but then when it comes to other aspects of the government, I don't necessarily mind it. Um, because at the end of the day, it's different people, and the money from up top all comes down from the same place, but the people, the purpose, the intention behind it is very different. And I'm covering League of Legends. I'm not working for a defense regime. I'm not working for any of those stuff. So to me, like it's the same exact thing. Maybe not the same exact thing, but it's the same thing. And I have that line, and I just that's where I draw the line. And I know Travis said that he's not doing it. I respect it. That's where he puts his line. That's not where I put mine. And keep in mind, like this is something I was like a freshly graduated from college with no job, living in his mom's apartment, not being able to find anything because COVID came, and the job that I had lined up ghosted me, and the other job that was like, hey, we want you, like straight up, like we will take you. And I knew the manager, like I was friends with him at or like colleagues, and he also ghosted me. And I he told me to come out to Michigan. I came to Michigan, actually. I went to Michigan from Maryland. I flew in, just nothing, wouldn't respond, nothing. The company just put a freeze on all positions, and I was unfortunately affected. I did get a few interviews with a few companies, but nothing came through. And then eventually I got my job right now. And yeah, I'm very happy. I've been here for 3.5 years now. So it's nice. It gives me a lot of flexibility. I'm able to travel a lot, and pays well. Yeah, it's cool. I enjoy the work from home benefits. Honestly, the fact that it stayed after COVID was a big plus. I think if it went away, I may have found a new job, but there's a lot of benefits to working from home. Like for example, being able to wake up, switch my sleep schedule, wake up at 4 a.m. and do MSI interviews, and even like LCS interviews. I wouldn't be able to actually no, they're on the weekends. I was thinking of last split when they were on Thursday, Friday. It'd be very difficult. I agree. I also work from home. I love it. I know, dude. Not commuting is awesome. Not commuting is so great. The other thing is like I work by myself. I basically like I very rarely need to interact with anyone besides my supervisor. If I have a question, I'll like message her. I'll be like, "Hey, what about this?" But in general, I don't like interact with anyone. It's a very actually a lot of people complain about it because they're like, if you want to be in an office and want to have on the clock right now, well, enjoy. Um, yeah, if you want like a lively environment, it's not necessarily that. It's very excluding. You can make it into like they have like virtual, meetings every Monday, I think, and lunches and stuff like that that you can do. I don't partake in any of that. I do my work, I finish my work, I do it well, and you don't even know my name. Um, I don't talk to you, you don't talk to me. Like I get the reason I do that is because I can start working whenever I want. There was a period of time where I'd start working at noon or at 2 p.m. And I just worked till the night because I don't know, maybe I was up playing video games all night and woke up late, or maybe I just slept in, or whatever. I didn't feel like working, like whatever it is. Um, there was a time in my life where I was doing CrossFit at 6 a.m., which was crazy. I can't believe I used to do that. And I would be so tired after CrossFit. I would try to stay awake and work. I physically couldn't. So one day I'd start work at like noon because I'd do CrossFit at 6. By the time I get back home, it's like 7:30. I shower and then take a nap. I wake up at like 10, have breakfast, all that stuff. By the time I start work, it's noon. And the next day I start work at 6 a.m. or like 7 a.m. So it's nice being able to set your own schedule and stuff like that. It's cool. I think with if I had to commute and have like a rigid schedule, oh my god. I know most people are like that, but I'm very fortunate, and I think Minecraft is fortunate too that we don't have to do that. I don't know about the schedule thing, but it's nice. It's turned into a whole conversation about work, but I mean, hopefully one day LCS will be my work. It won't be as flexible, obviously, because LCS happens and you just kind of have to exist around that time. But yeah, I don't know that I'll always be doing interviews. Hopefully, I can branch out into a bunch of other stuff. I really want to get into like making videos as well, not just honestly, that's the dream for me. Wake up, start the computer, do the work, respond to emails, log off, get paid. I do not want to interact with coworkers. Agreed, Robin. Agreed. It's so nice. It's so nice. There's no drama. Like I know sometimes drama happens, and I hear about it, but like, do I care? No, and I move on with my life. It's so nice. Um, there were like when they hired a whole bunch of people at the same time, and like I'm in touch with one or two of the people that were in my cohort, and sometimes if I have something that I want to ask, or they have a question, I think more often than not they ask each other questions. They're more social than I am. They will like there's like three of them that are always like talking to each other, and I'm like the fourth that every now and then, I guess, if you really need to ask me, they'll ask me. But yeah, very very it's very nice not having to deal with people. The other thing is I can only get away with all of this because my supervisor is awesome. And there was one day where I had to go get like a security badge, and I went to her and I told her, "Hey, I was sitting in this table and everyone had horror stories about either their current supervisor or like a supervisor that they used to work with, and all I had to say was great things about you. And I just want you to know she's a new supervisor. She actually used to be my coworker, and then she got promoted to supervisor. Um, and then she became my supervisor because our group became so big that they had to split us in two, and she was like a new supervisor, and she was like the part of the new group. And I was moved into that new group, which I'm very thankful for. I was like, I told her thank you for being so great, and she was like, oh, that's so sweet of you, and blah blah blah. But yeah, she lets me do whatever. She's like, look, you do your finish your work is done well. Whenever I check over your work is great. I don't have much complaints. Like, there's do whatever you want as long as the work is getting done. When the work is not getting done, then we can talk, but that doesn't happen, so there's no reason to talk about it. So if I want to take a day off, like, I'll take a day off. If I want to work, sometimes I'll take the day off and then I'll just work a Saturday or a Sunday, and like I don't even need to tell her. I'll just do it. She doesn't care as long as things add up and the work is done. She doesn't care. So that's I'm very blessed in multiple ways. The fact that I can do my own schedule, the fact that I have a really cool supervisor, and the fact that I work from home, all together make it a very like Wayne's World was saying, the American dream. I was just thinking of I Will Dominate's schedule. Like, that guy is most casters. I did the interview with Mazel, and he was telling me his sleep schedule, which is like he sleeps 3 hour increments. So he'll sleep for 3 hours, work NACL, get another 3 hours of sleep, work LPL, get 3 hours, repeat of sleep, and repeat. Like, his schedule is so hectic, but he does what he loves. So I mean, he does get that. I probably get paid more than him. I'll be honest. Riot is not known for paying casters an exorbitant amount. Um, especially since one of them is NACL and the other one's LPL, and I don't think those are the two ones that pay the most. I actually don't know which would pay the most. Maybe Korea back in the day, like when it was OGN. But yeah, I mean he has like a insane. What's his name? Raz was telling me back when they used to do the LPL through from Australia and from Sydney, they would like straight up. There are days where they would just sleep underneath their desk. They just bring a blanket and a pillow and sleep underneath their desks because they only had like a couple hours to sleep before the next best of three started. And it's like by the time they get home and come back, like it wouldn't make sense. They would just waste the time for sleep, and so they would straight up sleep in the office. And he was like, "Oh yeah," as Spawn was telling me about that too. Like back when he was casting, these people have worked their yeah, they've worked their asses off and they enjoy it, and that's awesome. I definitely don't do that. I'm in a much more cushy position. So it's very nice being. The other thing is like they're doing what they love, and I'm doing what pays the bills. So um, there is that trade off, but it's the amount of work that people in the scene put. Like I was just watching a Thorn video where he was basically talking about plans that he has, and he was like, "I'm going to be writing like 3 articles a day and doing this and making out the videos. I'm going to be posting more videos than I've ever done before, including the new like website that I have where I'm posting like a trillion other things." And he's like, he's outworking everybody. And then he was like, "Oh, what can I do to improve my craft? Outwork myself from like a year ago." It's the amount of work that it takes to be in the scene is insane. And it's not that I'm not willing to put it, it's that I have a full time job and I have to just like balance that. So slowly, I do. I mean, I get a crap ton of interviews out. It's not like I'm going to stop doing it. I will. But I mean, getting to where they're at is something that I cannot achieve, and I'm sure that I cannot achieve it unless I grind the hell out of this. And honestly, it's waking up at 4 a.m. is difficult. I can't imagine sleeping at 1, waking up at 4 and doing that every day. Like that's crazy. But yeah, like Emily Rand has done that before. You know, Kelsey Moser. It's just it's what's required to be in the scene, and I understand that. And so like waking up for MSI, even if the schedule is crazy, is nothing compared to what these people have done. And I'm in a obviously very blessed position. To be able to do what I'm doing. Every time I hear about old school casting, especially LPL, it's always wild. Dude, LPL was crazy. They had so many games, and the casters were just my. I'm guessing they were probably very underpaid and just overworked like crazy. But it sounded like they had fun with it. Like anytime you ask them about it, they're like, "Oh yeah, those were some of the best years of my life." A lot of times you look back at things with rose tinted glasses. I'm sure if you ask them back then, they'll be like, "What? Sorry, I need to sleep. I only have another 30 minutes before my next best of five, best of three, my next 7 best of threes." But yeah, I do want to get like as many interviews out. I do want to grind like the YouTube thing, and I am learning how to do better edits and whatnot. I spend a lot of time learning like better editing skills, but so that I can make the Sylvex style video. It's not necessarily Sylvex style, but like these, whether it's a montage, whether it's a trailer, whether it's a story, I do want to make a lot of stories. I want to tell stories. So you can think of Gbe, but I don't want to say budget Gbe, but like a different direction of Gbe. Ooh, let's take a look at this. Oh my god, this is so cool. Especially crazy when you realize the idea that this was even going to be somewhat viable career, only to be clear. Oh yeah, dude, that's crazy. Imagine doing something thinking that it's never like actively assuming that it's never going to be your career. You're just doing it because you only have 3 years of doing it, and then like you're going to have to get back and either go back to college or do something, with your life that you don't want to do, so you're just taking full advantage. And then, now it became a career, but it wasn't a career back then. That is pretty crazy. I didn't even think of that. Dude, this thumbnail is so cool. Um, what is it? PNG compressor. I think I have to compress the image. I'm pretty sure I do, right? Downloads. Yeah, it's over two megabytes. So someone had reached out to me saying, "Hey, your interviews are really cool." His name is Ali. I mean, you can see he's if you go to my Twitter, you will see his name. Like I'll be like, any thumbnail that is cool was made by this person. Um, he's very good at what he does, and he saw my thumbnail, and then he was because I posted it like super quick, right after it happened, and he just like sent me the thumbnail. I was like, I'll do it now, and then later on he can do the better version of it, and his better version is so much better. Oh my god, dude. I should just share my screen actually show you guys, but let me change the thumbnail first. He's so good at this. I'm so jealous. I know it's his job. Like he's an artist or a digital artist. Is that what it's called? I don't know. There's a word that I'm thinking of that I can't think of, but yeah, he's so good at this. He's so good at this. Wait, that's not the one I wanted. Oh well. Come on. Uh, Let me show you guys. I already changed it, so if you just look at my YouTube, you'll be able to see it. But I'll share my screen in a second. There we go. Like, isn't that so cool? Yeah, there we go. Graphic designer, not graphic artist. He's a graphic designer, if I'm not mistaken. Um, that's so cool for a thumbnail. Like compared to mine. Wait, let me pull up mine. This is the one I made, and this is the one he made. So this is the one he made. The one I made was this one. Like, look, this versus that. This is so cool. It has like the MSI colors. Like even Jensen is his outline is like almost as if he's part of that picture. And then you have like the MSI logo. I didn't even think of that. The font. I'm using the same font by the way, but his just looks so much cleaner. I don't know why. I'm literally using the font that he mentioned. I guess he's using the not. Oh, mine's in capital, all capital. His isn't. And then mine's probably bigger. And I think the space between the letters is smaller. Yeah, I mean, I am not the smartest about this stuff, but he's good. I'm really happy that he reached out and he's like, hey man, I just want to help. I just enjoy doing this. Yeah, I'm the rim light. Oh yeah, the rim light looks nice. Also, the nerves being highlighted makes more sense. I think. What did I highlight? Affected, didn't I? I didn't even think of that. Yeah, I agree with you. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, he's so much better. Actually, I'll just show some thumbnails that I made, and then the thumbnail that he made out of the one that I made. So sometimes I'll make it like a very quick sketch of like what I'm thinking in my mind, right? Like, hey, this is kind of what I was thinking, and then he'll just like make it happen. So there's this. I yeah. So there's. Let me go here. Ah, let's get there. How does one do this? Yeah, so this I sent this to him, right, for Raz. And he took this and then what he did with it was this. Let me. Oh, this isn't probably the best way to show. How do I show this in a. Wait, let me do this. This is probably a better way to show it. Yeah, there we go. Can you see? No. Oh, I switched scenes again. Here. So he made that. He just like completely removed the background, like isolated him, put his name down, put like LCS secret plan. This is what I was thinking. I was like, oh, the LCS is like plan. Was what I wanted, and I was like, it's as if he's like showing it off, and I just assumed he was gonna put like some colors here and like write down like the secret strategy or something like that. And he was like, no, I'll just get rid of the entire background, put in a new one, put a whiteboard and like this little sticky note that's like just added. Yeah, he put the logo here that looks like it's drawn on. Like he did such a good job with these. Literally every thumbnail. Actually, let's just go to my YouTube channel real quick. Every thumbnail that looks nice, he has done. I made these 23 websites and earned $500,000. That's random. I don't even watch that stuff. Where is your channel? Here we go. Oh, look at me. I'm live. Videos. Yeah, so this I made. This he made. This I made. This I made. This he made. These he made. This Travis one is so cool. This Travis one where he took the picture of Travis and put it on like that board. Yeah. I didn't even think it was possible. I remember talking to him and he was just like I was giving him the idea of what I wanted to do, and then he gave me the idea of what he wanted to do, which was something like this. And then let me switch back to me and see if I can find this. The one that he was thinking of. Yeah, here it is. Let me go back to sharing here. Yeah, he was like, "Oh, what if I did something like this with it?" You know, and I was like, "Oh, that's a great idea." And just being like, "Oh, what the secret plan of LCS is." To be honest, the Chovy one isn't bad. The image is already great to begin with. Yeah, the one where he's just sitting. I feel like the text, like it doesn't pop out. I don't know. I feel my choice of text is always bad. Like, even though I think this is cleaner, the text here is cleaner. I just feel that, like, this one is one he made, right? Good posture is a myth, and it's just so much cleaner. But I'm using the same font, the same color. It's just he styles it much better than I do. Yeah, I do like the Chovy one. I will agree. I like the Jensen one too, to be honest. I thought it looked slick, but just because I like it doesn't mean it's good. But yeah, he makes these, and you can see like this is when he started. I think this was his first one. Oh, let me see if I can find the original version that I made and then the version that he made. So look at how nice this is. The one I made looked so bad compared to that. And I didn't know it looked bad. At first I was like, oh, I did a great job with this. Here it is. This was it. Okay, this is really zoomed in. That's not cool. It was this. And then he cleaned up the color. He cleaned up this. He like cleaned up this, the space between everything, the space between the question marks, the logo. He did a much better job with it. Yeah. I mean, one day, hopefully I don't think I'll ever be that good at making thumbnails. You can see, honestly, like, if we look at older thumbnails, they were just so bad. Like, look at this. Yeah, like, these thumbnails are not exactly the prettiest thumbnails. But then, you know, I thought this thumbnail was really nice. I really liked that thumbnail. Oh, man, back when I used to have hair. Yeah, this thumbnail was nice. But the picture kind of did 90% of the work. But yeah, like, since meeting him, even the thumbnails I make, like, I wouldn't have made a thumbnail like this had I not met him and had he not talked to me about thumbnails and how he like does it and what he thinks about it. So yeah, he's helped me a lot. I'm very grateful for his help, and he's going to be doing a lot of the thumbnails for. Let me see if I can actually pull up this one. I thought this one was so cool, by the way. I don't even know where he found this picture, but this thumbnail is so cool. I'm gonna be uploading this later after I'm done streaming in like 30 minutes or so. I'll be uploading this. I think this is so cool. And again, like, the whole MSI theme, he's just doing them all MSI themed. I think that's really cool. The Carrier one is also cool. Like, I think it's super slick. Yeah, I don't know. Eventually, when I become the greatest there ever was, and I can afford to pay whenever I start making a little bit more money, and I can afford to pay like a full-time thumbnail artist or a video editor, like this will become the norm. But right now he's just helping me as just because he likes to help, and I'm very grateful. I was telling him like every single video that he does the thumbnail for does much better than any other video, which is not surprising. He does very good thumbnails. But yeah, he's gonna be making a lot. I'm really excited. He's gonna be making like 4 or 5 thumbnails for me each day. It doesn't take him that much time either. That's the other thing. It takes me forever to make one, and then he just does it in like 20 seconds or like whatever, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. He does it so quick. It's just not fair. I mean, obviously he knows what he's doing, but yeah, sometimes I wish I could just like take 3 months off and just learn this stuff. It'd be really cool. Like if I could take 3 months off and just become a much better video editor and just learn how to video edit and like remake a bunch of these very difficult, or not very difficult, but very good videos in terms of editing. I would love to like learn how to do that and become better at it. But I don't have that opportunity. So every time I make a video, I have to just improve one little thing, whether it's the speed or the sound or the transitions that I make. I used to be very bad at transitioning between one thing and the other, and then I learned, oh, sometimes you can just like not transition and have it just be a cut transition. And then I learned like putting in too many different transitions or the same transition over and over again, or like I just learned a bunch of stuff about that kind of stuff. Audio is another thing that's like really big. I didn't realize the amount of sound effects that people add. And then I was watching a video about sound effects and I was like, oh wow, you're right. My videos lack that. And one thing, actually, I'll show this because I thought I was happy about it. It's like the tiniest thing, but this is like what I mean by improving like one thing at a time. Your videos, your channel, videos. This Chovy video, right? I'm gonna mute it just in case, but oh, I switched scenes again. This Chovy video, it's somewhere here. It's easy to get Windows Movie Maker syndrome and go overboard with transitions. Yeah, I thought if I did the same transition over and over again, it would get repetitive. And then I realized if I just change the transition every single time, it becomes just like overwhelming. Over here, I'll raise the volume just a little bit. Oh, you guys probably can't even hear it anyways. But yeah, like here I can't hear it because it's muted, huh? Okay, that's really loud. As it's exploding, I added like a tiny little explosion sound effect. Let's see if we can hear it. Here, like boof. I don't know if you could hear it. I don't know. YouTube sometimes demonetizes, even though this song literally is like doesn't have any monetization limits on it. But I don't know. YouTube is not very friendly with that stuff. And then it's like sends me an email. It's like, how dare you? Your video wasn't affected, but you're not gonna be monetized anymore. I was like, wait, I was monetized to begin with? Like, I didn't know you could do that. Yeah, YouTube is just like really strict with that stuff. What was I saying? Yeah, I added like a little explosion sound effect. I thought that was really cool. The other place that I did it was, let me go back real quick. Here, like all the glitches that I did, I actually found like glitch sound effects and added them, and I had different glitch sound effects as well. I know that the reason I went with glitch actually for MSI was because MSI was doing this weird what is it? Not get at the unknown. Become the unknown. And I don't know what that means. Like, what does become the unknown even mean? I don't know. So I was like, oh, they're trying to sell this like nocturne, like scary skin, right? So I'm just gonna put all these like glitchy like effects, become the unknown. Yeah, I was like, I don't know. So I put a little bit of a hue. This is my first time changing the color of anything. So I was like, I'm gonna do something very, very tiny just to start learning how to do color grading. And so I just changed it from like what it was white because it's like a throwback. And then the little glitch, this edit took me not that long, But initially, it wasn't even this edit. Initially, what I wanted to do was, and I did it. It's not that I wanted to do it. This was like think of like a thought bubble that pops up. It wasn't, it was a hologram screen. That's the word I'm looking for. I was sitting in front of the screen and I was like, oh my God, FlyQuest made it. And then like I put my hand up. Oh, you guys can't see me. Oops. Let me turn on my camera actually. There we go. It was like a holographic screen. And I was like scrolling up to find the FlyQuest hype trailer. And then I clicked on it. What editing software do you use? Resolve? Yep, Resolve. And then I clicked on it, and then it like clicks, and then it clicks in, and then the video starts. And then I was like, why am I even in this video? I don't think I want to be in this video. But I got a bunch of comments about this part here. Where is it? Not this part. Yeah, this part here. So during the team fight, I kind of like glitch out completely. And I know people have said like, oh my God, this was so cool. And I had one person say like, I found it kind of overbearing. Like I didn't enjoy it, but I can see why other people enjoyed it. But I thought this was really cool. Like this, you can hear the sound. And as you hear the sound, it kind of, I timed it so perfectly, by the way. I wanted it as soon as like the flash kick comes in onto Berserker and like end the game, it kind of glitches out and it comes back right at the moment where the Gragas like kills everyone. I thought I did such a good job on it. I know there's like really minute details, but I do want to keep improving the minute details because I think once you add all of them up, that's when you become a better editor. And honestly, at first, I really didn't want to do any video editing. And you can kind of see with my very first few videos. Actually, no, you can't, because my first few videos were edited. Never mind. No, they weren't actually. They weren't. My first interview was edited, but my first few videos were not. Like this one here was not edited at all. This one, no editing. This one, no editing. These guys had no editing. It was only when I started here that I started to edit. This had a bunch of editing. I thought this was really cool. The opening scene here, redacted footage of Inspired becoming the unknown Tia. Yeah. This, by the way, was probably the best open scene I've ever made. And I dream. Oh, wrong one. Oops, wrong video. This is not this one, the other fake gun one. Here, I really need a better thumbnail, man. I wish if this thing had a better thumbnail, like 24K easily. Yeah. The opening scene I thought was the best opening scene I've ever done to date. But let me just finish what I was saying earlier. I really didn't, man. Talking apparently makes you need water. Oh, I just got a glimpse of Vicla's IGN. Oh. Yeah, Vikla, what could have been, right? Could have been like Jojo Pune or something, but and Prince as well. But yeah, I didn't want to do any video editing, and my idea was like I'm just gonna make videos. If I get better at the craft of making videos, eventually I'll be able to hire an editor because whatever money I make, I'm just gonna reinvest it into the channel. Then I realized I don't know what good editing is. So if I had an editor, how would I know what good editing is? And I was like, well, I need to at least be at a level that I can understand what good and bad is. And so I started getting better at editing. And I was like, it was very naive of me to think that I could make good videos without having good editing. Because at the end of the day, you aren't going to watch it if it's just a boring, like, plain video. You need, and I don't mean like over the top editing, but I do think this opening scene here is my favorite. Also, I feel like the clicking sound comes a little late. I don't know why. I thought it came on time, but now that I'm hearing it, it just feels a little late. Maybe not. Just that part where he's like, scream, ha. Just like this whole beginning sequence from like when he talks here, and then the like bunch of cutscenes, and then to him screaming. I still think that this was the best opening sequence I've done. and I've focused a lot on my opening sequences. That's why, like, with my older interviews, and even like whenever I do a longer interview, not whenever, but most of the time that I do a longer interview, like the one with Kelsey Moser, I I heavily edit it. I think maybe the Raz one kind of shows it, but I'll show both. Um, I'll mute it because it doesn't like it. But you'll see here, like there'll be like a voiceover with a bunch of edits from his history, talking about some jokes, showing off his personality, stuff like that. Yeah, editing makes the video. I agree. Um, because I feel like it gives character and makes the video. And it's like, oh yeah, today we discussed this stuff, and then a clip of him talking about it, us like laughing. I think with Kelsey Moser as well, I did the same thing. I brought like the quote that she enjoys, and then a bunch of clips of her talking, debating, and just yeah, just a bunch of like it wasn't anything fancy, but I think that stood out from how most people do their editing, their like videos. They kind of just like put a highlight and then move on, right? And I thought that was relatively different. Um, but yeah, if I don't know what good editing is, how can I edit good videos? How can I like say the person's editing good videos? This was an attempt of like just talking to the screen. I'm still not good at that, but this was a video where I thought the editing was pretty good. Well, not pretty good. I thought that I was really learning. I learned a lot of stuff editing this video. Interviews are you don't really learn much. Like you learn very specific things about interviews. This thumbnail is horrible, um, but it is what it is. I was experimenting, didn't work out. Not surprised though. But yeah, videos like these are ones where I actually learn a lot. Like this to the finals where I have a voiceover. This one where it's like there is no voiceover and I have to make it up, and it's to the beat. The other thing with music that I learned recently, I know I'm just like information dumping. Um, One thing I learned about music is that when you're editing, you cut to the beat, and I didn't even know what that meant. But it's like first things first. Like every time there's like a drum, dun dun dun. Like you want to cut on a beat, and you don't want to like do it in the middle when there's no drums or a beat, if that makes sense. I did learn a lot. Oh, oops. 그렇구나. Mhm. But yeah, besides interviews, I do want to have edited videos. I have some ideas for after MSI of like videos. Mako is a person that I'd love to make a video about because I'm a huge Mako fan. He's my favorite support that's currently playing, maybe even of all times. I'm a big Mako fan, and there's there's so much you can do in the League of Legends space that I feel like I'm not necessarily tapping into, which I know it's the beginning of my journey. I started not too long ago. Like my first interview was here, right? Like it's been less than a year. Even these videos are all like 5 months old, right? I'm still new, and I should be learning, and I am taking it as a learning experience. But sometimes I just get impatient, and I I want to do a lot of things, and you can't always make that happen. There's only a limited amount of hours, and between work and between this and between that. But yeah, back to MSI. Excited for the interview, the one-on-one tomorrow. It's gonna be my first one, and yeah, I'll post. I'll start working on the scrums right now. I already have all the thumbnails, so I will post the scrums probably one every 2 hours. One should come out in like, I mean, whenever I finish it, I'll post it. Probably the Cario one because that's the one I was working on, and then I'll post the Jose Deodo and then the Betty. Those should all be out by tonight, and then tomorrow. Let me look at who is tomorrow. Tomorrow There are 4 players. If I'm not mistaken, Oskarinen is one of them for Fnatic. For GAM, it's Elio. For TES, it's Tian. And for Loud, it's Root. So those, I don't know if I'm going to be available for all of them. Hopefully, yes. And then obviously the Chinos one that I'm going to be doing with him. Yeah, there's going to be like 4 or 5 interviews every day. I know that's a lot, but hey, YouTube will only show you the cool ones, probably. So unless you watch all of them, then I'll show you all of them. But you can feel free not to click on them if you're not interested in the player. I just want to get as many of these interviews out. That's my goal here. It's not like only post the kind of like what Ashley Kang does, where she only like really posts the big interviews, right? When she gets the Faker or the Chovy or the Viper. I'm just gonna post all of them and go from there. All right, I will see you guys Monday, unless maybe I will if something happens where I'm like, oh my god, this experience was really cool, because like the first 20 minutes of this stream was just me talking about my experience at MSI, doing the interviews and like the backstage kind of thing. If something cool happens, I'll talk about it. Otherwise, I will stream Monday as usual around the same time, 3 p.m. Eastern, and I will hopefully have some cool stories. I think the saddest story was the Masu interview being like dying, basically. It wasn't me, but still, he's like, he's another Maryland interviewer, and you know, I feel a connection to him, and he's cool. He's helped me out a lot. He's given me a lot of advice, or even if his advice was like just pray. But yeah, I'm happy. And you guys should check out his interviews. Has he uploaded any of the interviews? Let me take a look. I don't think so. I would have seen it, but let's see. Where is he? I'm subscribed to him. Restreamed. There we go, Jason. Oh no, he hasn't uploaded it. Yeah, the last one was Whippo. He got an interview. He has some cool interviews coming out. I'll say that. I don't want to like spoil who he did or not. I don't know if he's shared that publicly or not. I know he shared publicly that Masu was an interview that he did that kind of like died because of OBS crashing on him. But he has a few other interviews that he should be posting soon. I'm excited for them. That's why 2 of them specifically I'm excited for. Yeah, big players, really cool. Hope to see the interviews. So he got some one-on-ones. If you want to see the press conferences, I will have those coming up in a couple hours. Take care, guys. Bye. Thank you for hanging out. Robin's, Minecraft, Wayne's World, all you guys. And then whoever's, I can see that there are more people, but they're not talking. Thank you for hanging out, and take care. Bye. If I can find out how to